Chapter 11. The healing aftermath. After that day in the backyard, Nicole was done. Not taking a break done. Not let's co-parent and see how it goes done. She was done. That type of done that comes after soul-deep exhaustion and survival. The kind of done that gets sewn into your bones and never leaves. But being done didn't mean healing happened overnight. It meant starting over with bruises that didn't just fade from her skin, but ones that clung to her memory, her heart, her triggers. The house was quieter now. No more yelling, no more footsteps stomping in and out like a war zone, no more fear creeping down the hallway every time the front door creaked open. But quiet didn't mean peace right away, because trauma echoes, even in silence. Pop would still flinch in his sleep, still whisper, "Is he coming back?" In the dark. Nicole would rub his back and promise, "No baby, he's not." But sometimes she had to say it out loud just to convince herself. Dee Dee didn't visit much after that, not because she didn't want to, but because things got complicated. She wasn't Nicole's biological child, and when the relationship ended, access to Dee Dee ended too. Nicole would sit and look at the notes Dee Dee had written her. "You're the best mom ever. I love you more than 100 cupcakes." She kept them in a small shoebox with photos of better days. Sometimes she'd open it, read a few, then close the lid and cry until her soul felt wrung out. But she didn't go back. This time she really stayed gone. She began waking up at 6 a.m. again, without panic. She enrolled in therapy, she took long walks, she did yoga, then boxing. Some mornings she danced in the living room with Tina and Pop, music blasting, laughter healing what violence tried to destroy. Her journal pages got soaked with truth. She wrote down every lie he ever told her, then crossed each one out with a red pen. "I am safe. I am worthy of real love. I am not to blame for his brokenness." She started saying no more. She stopped answering blocked numbers. She deleted old texts. She burned the t-shirt he left behind that still smelled like cologne and chaos. Nicole was reclaiming herself. Samuel was still in the picture, but respectfully, quietly. He understood this season wasn't about romance. It was about resurrection. He brought groceries, left flowers on her porch, took Pop to the park. No pressure, just presence. Nicole noticed that, respected it. And slowly, she let herself imagine what love could look like when it didn't come wrapped in pain. She began to envision a future where her home was not just her shelter, but her sanctuary. She launched a new branch of her business, dedicated a portion of her work to women who had been through similar things, writing for them, speaking for them, holding space for them. She turned her pain into a platform, because Nicole wasn't just surviving anymore. She was rising, and this time she was building a life that no one could shake, choke, or silence. Chapter 12. The final goodbye. It had been almost 6 months since the last time Nicole saw Justin. Not in passing, not in court, not through a window, nothing. And still, every now and then, she'd feel the phantom weight of his shadow. Trauma has a way of haunting you, lingering in the creases of a quiet afternoon or the silence after a slammed door. But she was no longer paralyzed by the memory. She had named it, faced it, survived it. She had done more than walk away. She had risen. Pop was thriving, laughing more, sleeping through the night, playing in ways he hadn't in years, without fear behind his eyes. He still asked about Dee Dee from time to time, and Nicole always answered honestly, but gently. "She loves you, baby. Some people just live in different homes now." Tina was blossoming into herself, strong, brilliant, guarded, but hopeful. She looked up to Nicole like she was made of steel and grace, and maybe she was. Samuel never rushed Nicole's healing. He held space when she needed quiet. He never tried to rewrite her story, just chose to be the safe chapter after the storm. He treated Pop like his own, attended school events, helped with bedtime, showed up with steady hands and steady love. But what made their love story even more surreal was how it started. Nicole decided to stop at her favorite restaurant in Avenel, New Jersey, alone as usual. She was a striking woman, and attention often followed her whether she wanted it or not. As she waited for her food and sipped her drink, she heard it. "Nicole?" They caught up like no time had passed. Nicole didn't pretend. She told him she was dating, weighing her options, healing. What started with dinner turned into long nights. No intimacy, just intentional presence. Samuel rubbed her feet, Nicole greased his scalp. They fell asleep during deep conversations about life, parenting, purpose. They both wanted to be sure. And after a few months, Samuel proposed. He was already planning it. You could tell by the way he looked at her, bought rings not just for her but for Tina and Pop. He offered to pay all her bills, even though they weren't living together yet. Now, they were just 3 months away from moving into their new home together, and 5 months from becoming husband and wife. He was patient, caring, nurturing, loving. You could tell his mother poured love into him. You could tell his father modeled strength without force. She had learned to trust again, not because someone told her to, but because her spirit was finally whole enough to choose it. Then one day, she got the call. Justin was in trouble again. Some fight, some charge, some other woman, the usual. "No, I'm good," she said. "I let that go a long time ago." And she meant it. There was no more pain in her voice, no bitterness, just a quiet kind of peace that only comes when you've climbed your way out of hell and decided to never go back. Later that night, she sat on her porch, wrapped in a cozy throw blanket, sipping tea while Pop and Tina played inside. The wind danced softly through the trees. A new moon hung in the sky. Samuel joined her, placing a hand gently on her leg. "You okay?" he asked. She looked at him, really looked. "I am," she said. "For the first time in a long time, I really am." Nicole knew the scars would always be there. She didn't want to forget what she survived. That story, her story, wasn't one of shame. It was proof. Proof that love shouldn't hurt, that motherhood can be revolutionary, that healing is loud and messy and worth every second, that being broken doesn't mean staying broken. She had been abused, she had been lost, she had almost lost her mind, but she had also clawed her way back, found her purpose, and wrote her freedom into existence, page by page, choice by choice. This wasn't just the final chapter, it was the beginning of everything beautiful, and this time, the love that surrounded her, it didn't scream, it didn't lie, it didn't raise its hand or its voice, it simply stayed. When the mask falls off. I'm Nicole, and this is the story of how I finally chose myself. It hit me at the gym, the weights clanging, sweat beading on my brow. That's when the memory came, uninvited but crystal clear. Justin had just pulled up to the house. I could feel his anger from across the yard. Dee Dee, his daughter, she knew too. She grabbed my hand and whispered, "Stay with me." I was so happy that day. I'd just completed the homebuyers program, a step towards freedom. But when I told Justin, he snapped. "You can take the baby and fucking go," he screamed. Then, he threw me onto the car, slapped me, punched me, choked me. My son, Pop, only 4 years old, tried to fight him off with his tiny fists. Standing in that backyard, trembling, broken, bleeding, I was furious. Not just at him, at myself, for staying, for shrinking, for silencing my spirit. I had dark thoughts, about fire, about boiling grease, about pliers and toes, but I didn't act on them. I couldn't go back to that life. I had too much to lose. The day of our baby's first birthday, he choked me in the car and said, "It only takes 4 minutes to kill someone like this." I had never felt more helpless. Pop's eyes changed that day. He no longer saw a father, he saw a monster. Back at the gym, the memory faded, and I made my final decision, not just to leave, but to never look back, to choose myself fully and completely. This is my story, of pain, of survival, and finally, of self-love.